Welcome to the Skate Like You Podcast.
What's going on, everybody? Hey, it's Mark, Skate Like You Podcast, SK8LIKEYOU.com, and I am here to talk about something. Normally, I don't do things like this. It's kind of rare. I mean, I do it every once in a while, do a review on some things, but really only when something really kind of just grabs my attention or, something just really impresses me or whatever. So it's, I've literally done, I don't even know, like, this might be the second or third actual review. I give my opinions on things randomly in different episodes with different guests, skate gear and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, as far as like entire episodes dedicated, to a single review of a particular product, it doesn't happen very often unless unless I'm inspired. And for sure, I was definitely inspired to talk about what we're going to talk about today, which is JGhubs, in particular, a set of wheels that I have recently received. Interestingly enough, the way I kind of like to refer to it is the wheels so nice I had to get them twice. Okay, so myself, I have a preference as far as wheel size, right? Mainly width. I like to roll like a 38 millimeter. I'm very much on my ankles. I'm rolling my ankles a lot. I'm on my edges a lot. So obviously, it's tough with a straight edge. Anything that's like a 42. Or basically, once I get to a 42, it really kind of makes the type of skating that I do, or just for my particular style, it makes it a little less accessible. And I had gotten a set of wheels not too long ago. And although they weren't necessarily to my liking as far as the size goes, right? Because they were 42, man, the weight was incredible, right? Like it's not very often that, with everything that, goes into a skate, the trucks, the plate, everything, like the boot itself, in most circumstances, when you're looking to decrease the weight of your overall skate, wheels aren't going to be the thing that you really think about. They're going to most often have kind of the least impact. And that was until I got the Bont Ghost Assassins, which I absolutely loved for that fact. I loved that the weight was just, it made a dramatic impact. Like I said, most of the time, when I have tried to do things to decrease the overall weight of my skates, like I said, it comes down to trucks, comes down to plates and stuff like that. And I just never had such a dramatic decrease of overall weight, with wheels, save for the Ghost Assassins, which I actually have right here. I actually dyed. These were the white ones. I dyed them trying to get as close to kind of like my Skate Like You color as possible. I think I did a pretty good job. But yeah, so, now obviously very, very, this is a 42. You see it's a very straight line here. So my goal initially, or my thought initially, was, send these off to Nathan Edwards, shout out Anything Machined, to have him cut these and then, kind of take the edges down a little bit, kind of curve that edge. And I just never did it. Be honest with you, I was just super impressed with the overall weight, right? It just was like, okay, well, I can deal with this. But, it became very, very apparent after a little bit of time. It's funny is I went back and looked at this video that I had shot at Forest Family Fun Center. I went up for a New England skate trip, little skate tour with Rob McGarrigle, Rob McG Skates, shout out. And we were skating around New England, and one of the places we had stopped in Massachusetts was Forest Family Fun Center. Shout out to Forest there in Taunton. And we got to skate the session. And then afterwards, even after they were closed, he kept it open for a couple of us and, just played, whatever music we wanted to listen to. And I just set up my phone on the side of the floor to kind of at the end of the straight run, just to basically just capture us, coming around and coming down that straightaway. And at that time I had my another set of wheels on. They were 38, and I just randomly came across this video not too long ago again, and I saw I could just tell the absolute difference as far as my ability to kind of have my faster footwork patterns and really just the dramatic difference in how much I'm able to roll my ankles and get up on my edges, dramatically and quickly and come off and on and that whole thing. Right. And also too, that my footwork could be tighter, right? Because although 38 millimeter in regular life, 38 millimeter and 42 millimeter don't have a huge difference on skates, like most people would know, that's a huge difference, right? So it also impacted the tightness of my footwork. So I had to be a little bit more, I had to think about that a little bit more. So yeah, I had to just be conscious of that a little bit more. And so I just start thinking, okay, well, I really want to get back to this 38, right? I really do. It's funny what you can kind of get used to and then kind of forget about, when you go from just doing different things as far as your gear goes. So I started thinking about it. And the fact is I got back into skating a few years ago. And, like a lot of people, I started out when I got back into it, I wasn't entirely sure, am I going to really stick this out? Right. Like at first I knew that I wanted to skate for sure. But I didn't know, was it going to last, and all that kind of stuff. So I kind of, I also didn't know what to buy, right? Because I wanted to get skates. So I didn't know what to buy. I'd been out of the game for so long. There were companies that didn't exist when I skated last. And, the prices had skyrocketed, obviously. I mean, we're talking, almost 20 years. And so I just kind of went with like what I would consider like a mid-grade, all-in-one setup. And, goes without being said that obviously the skating bug bit me hard immediately, and I was all back in, full tilt. And so, I had kind of progressed beyond that set of skates fairly quickly. I'm pretty hard on my skates. Little full disclosure, a little kind of embarrassing note about myself is my feet sweat like crazy, right? So whatever skates that I have, the boots, it's got to be a high quality boot. It's got to be a high quality leather. It's got to be able to take that. And the first setup that I had weren't that. They started falling apart almost immediately and peeling and everything like that. So anyway, I upgraded rather quickly. The whole point of what I'm getting to here is that from the first set that I bought, getting back into skating, literally up until recent, the product that I'm about to review with you guys, I had never purchased anything like a specialty, right? I never went to a machinist or somebody that, manufactures their own stuff. I never did like a specialty quality wheel or hub or anything like that. I had, gone to I definitely upgraded as far as, the quality and the companies that I was going to, but they were always a mass produced product. Right. And I'd seen and people and heard lots of things. And it's not that to say I haven't ever skated anything else. I've skated every wheel that there is, just like hopping on friend skates for an hour here, hour there, whether it's Scott Corey's, whether it's Anabolics, different hubs, all that kind of stuff. I've skated basically everything available right now as far as the specialty market goes. But I'd never purchased them on my own. And So when I was ready to dive back in here, I didn't want to cut the antibiotics. I'm sorry, I didn't want to cut these Bont Ghost Assassins. I just really just wanted to get another set. I really wanted to think about that. And also because, and look, I'm not hating on anything with Bont, but even though these Ghost Assassins are rated at like a 98, I don't know, man. I think Bont is like a 10, like their 98 is like a 101 anywhere else, right? So I wanted to go a little bit softer too, right? So when Skate Like No Breaks happened, I don't even remember what it was, but somehow I might have reached. No, I don't even think it was that. When somehow somehow Jim Garrett and I connected on Messenger, and I don't even know if I'd met Jim in person or if I knew who I was, like realized that it was him prior to Skate Like No Breaks. But we connected on Messenger for whatever reason, and he had told me that he was going to be at Skate Like No Breaks, and I was like, oh, that's awesome, man. I appreciate that. Can't wait to meet you. Can't wait to see you. And I saw him and introduced myself, and super nice guy. We talked for a couple minutes, and that was it. So but obviously, because I just met him and I'm looking and I'm in the market, I hit him up because I'm looking at his hubs, and of course, like the stuff I'm seeing, it's beautiful. Everything's beautiful, but everything that I'm also seeing, I mean, these are big 50s and stuff like that. Like none of this stuff is going to be able to cut urethane down to like a 38, right? So, because he basically, I think he manufactures everything at like a 44. Matter of fact, yeah. So like normal dimensions, right? On that, like on the wheels that I ended up getting from him are like a 64 by 42. So, and a lot of the hubs that he has it's not going to accommodate or at least it didn't look like it would accommodate cutting urethane down to like a 38, right? Cause the big hubs. But anyway, I'm not exactly sure if that's the case or not, but I hit him up and I was like, hey, look, this is what I'm looking for. I really want to get back to a 38. What do you have already, manufactured or what do you have in stock right now? And he had said to me, well, I have these Dianos. It's a Super D version of the Super D that he made. And that I think he said at the time he could cut them down to like a 34, which I didn't need that obviously. Right. But what that meant was he could definitely accommodate the 38 that I was looking for. And man, I'm telling you, so I think the day we talked, it was Sunday. The next day was Columbus Day because just a couple weeks ago, Monday was Columbus Day was on a Monday, and I had hit him up, I think, on a Sunday, and he just was like, "Yeah, I have these Dianos." He goes, and he just is like, "Here, I'll send you a set. Let me know what you think." Which I was not prepared for. I've never asked for anything for free. I don't do that. I don't go to people and say, "Hey, I have a podcast. Give me free stuff." I don't do that at all. Right. Not to say that I'm not taking it. I'm taking it, and if I like it and if I really, really enjoy it, I am going to definitely talk about it. And trust me, when it comes to being behind this mic, I'll sell the hell out of it, just without even intent, right? Just because it's funny. I literally just recorded this whole thing about. I got a message from somebody on the website, and I can't tell you if it was a negative or a positive, right? It was very kind of cryptic, and just it was very short, and but basically, what this person had said to me was, they were just basically pointing out, or I don't know if it was accusatory or if it was just them kind of pointing this out. I don't know if it was a compliment. I don't know if it was negative. I really don't know. My sensitivity, I kind of took it as negative initially, but then I stopped myself. I always try and stop myself and just be like, hey, what is this really about, right? And I just said, hey, well, let me back up. So the message was like, it seems like you really like go out of your way to sell on your podcast, and I think that they were even referencing like events or something like that. Like if I talk about an event. And so I didn't know how to take the message. I don't know it verbatim. Trust me, if the average person, if they would have got this kind of message, you'd probably think the same thing. You wouldn't know what to think, right? Is this like a knock, or is this a compliment, or is it just the pointing out an obvious fact? I don't know. But yeah, so my initial kind of reaction was, that seems kind of like, I almost felt like, are you calling me like a used car salesman kind of thing? But I stopped myself and I said, you know what? It doesn't matter. Like, I'm just going to take it as a compliment because it's the truth. It is the absolute truth. But, it's not even intentional. It's just that when I really, really believe in something or I enjoy something, I absolutely intentionally talk about it with enthusiasm. But anyway, I actually have a whole post ready to a video, because I just kind of, I don't want to say ranted, but I talked about this thing and kind of, my core beliefs around that whole kind of thing. Anyway, needless ADHD rant right there, going off off the rails. But so the original point being, I don't ask for free stuff because I have a podcast or anything like that ever, right? So it was so funny. I almost like I was ready to I mentioned Nathan Edwards earlier. I was ready to message Nathan and be like, so, hey, this just happened with Jim Garrett. And what's the protocol here? Because he offered to send me these things. Is it like the protocol, like the unspoken courtesy? I'm just supposed to offer him money or just send him? Because like I said, I don't ask for things. I don't do that, right? I pay for stuff. But I didn't message him. But either way, my point, but the fact is that I messaged him on a Sunday. He immediately was like, oh man, I got something for you. Check these things out. These Super Ds, I'm going to send them to you. Let me know what you think. And I was like, oh my God, man, thank you so much. Literally within no time, Christine Garrett is in my inbox then. And she's messaging me about, getting my address and shipping this stuff out to me. They didn't obviously ship out the next day because it was Columbus Day, but she got them in the mail the day after that. I had them in 3 days. Okay. Now the beautiful part is that, man, I got when it comes to the custom stuff and specialty stuff, I'm not very far from basically some of the best that do this in the skate community. Jim Garrett, he lives about 45 minutes to an hour from me. Ron Murray is within an hour of me. Nathan Edwards is within a few hours of me. In a pinch, I could basically just show up at any one of these people's houses, and grab something. So lucky me in that regard. But anyway, so I get these wheels from Jim, and the first thing is I just looking at them. I mean, the aesthetics of them are gorgeous. They're gorgeous, and as a matter of fact, I enjoyed them so much, and I'm working on another setup for somebody. I knew that this is kind of the perfect thing for that, the perfect wheels for that as well. And within less than a week, I think I hit him back up and was like, look, man, I love these things. I want another set. I'm not asking for free. Tell me what you charge, I'll send you the money. And basically again, next day, almost, I think it was within 2 days, they were here. They got here. They were here. But this is since I have the other set on my skates already. So let's take a look. Pull these bad boys out. So yeah, this is they had a wheel called the Super Ds or Dianos. You'll have to excuse me to all you purists out there. I don't know all this stuff, right? You gotta understand. although I skated the first half of my life a lot, and it was my life. It was like my rink was like the island of misfit toys, right? Like we were just a little podunk rink in Southern Maine, and nobody had speed skates. We're all on high boots, and I'm talking like the coolest wheels when I was a kid, like that someone had in our rink were like zingers, so like for all you guys, oh yeah, the fan jets and this and and all this kind of stuff. Like I'm informed of all those things now to a certain degree, but like it's not like I grew up on that stuff, right? So it's just a lot of it's foreign to me, or just not. I'm not familiar with it, right? But so anyway, these Super D's or Dianos. Okay, now the first thing I want to say is until I don't specifically remember meeting Jim or talking with him in person prior to Skate Like No Breaks. Now I know Ron Murray is one that Ron Murray and I used to be in places all the time. Like he'd go to the Philly events and stuff. And we had actually had some exchanges online before, but it's just funny because like Ron, we would find out later, especially when I had him on the podcast and we really, really talked, how many times we're in the same building and just never, exchanged or anything like that. So I don't know if I have had a conversation prior to, actually shaking Jim Garrett's hand, like at Skate Like No Breaks. Odds are maybe, but I don't remember that. And if I did, I didn't know that's who it was at the time. Right. But I will say, so, Jim was super, super friendly and like just super responsive. And absolutely like, yeah. Oh, I asked him a question. He's like, man, this is going to work. I have these, I'll cut these, for you. And got him out the door. Right. But the reason I bring up this thing about really not being like, not knowing if I had, not remembering exactly if Jim and I ever really had any exchange prior to that, is that when I got these things, the first set, I'm looking at them, okay? And I'm like, dude, like this guy cut these things like a samurai, okay? In the sense that like he knew exactly like the rounded edge I needed. And look, maybe I'm overthinking it, but I think he kind of confirmed it in some additional conversation after the fact. But he knew how I skated. He's seen either videos or he's seen me at a rink or whatever. He knew how I skated, and he was like, okay, I know he wants a 38. I know how the guy skates. This is what he's naturally going to do to this wheel at some point anyway. And man, he did it perfectly. Like the things that I got like within 2 days of messaging this guy at no cost to me. And look, maybe I shouldn't even mention that. Right? I don't want people like just messaging Jim like, hey, I heard the first one's free. I'm not saying that at all. And I paid for these ones. So whatever. But yeah, man, it was like they were like cut for me. And it's funny. Recently, I had gotten the Arius plate. And I know people are really kind of back and forth. It's like a 50-50 split on Arius with people. Like, I hate the Arius, or they're like, I love the Arius. And for me, I had a lot of conversations with a lot of people because I was really, really, when I was going to get this next plate, I really, really wanted it to be something that I was going to stick with and that I knew had the best likelihood of really working well for me. And so having a ton of conversations, it was really difficult because I was just getting this 50-50 split. People were like, I love them, or I was getting, I hate them. Right. But then I started examining, and I'm sorry if you've heard me talk about this before, but I started examining the conversations I was having, particularly the people that I was having the conversations with. And, here's this one half of the camp, right, that's like all about the Arius plate. And here's the other half of the camp that's like, no, never. I don't like them. they were terrible, whatever, right? And it became real obvious as I really kind of dug into kind of who I was talking to, that, this half of the camp that just didn't like them at all. These are skaters that are just kind of always all 8 on the floor all the time, straight ahead, speed based, speed oriented, probably. And a lot of them were former speed skaters, right? But they're not on their edges really, right? Like that's not what they do. And so then I looked at this other half of people that swore by the Arius and absolutely loved it. And they were the ones telling me, you will love this. That was the other thing. The people that didn't like the Arius, kind of like that half of the camp, they didn't have an opinion on whether I would like it or not. They just told me that they didn't like it. But these cats over here that are much more on their edges, they're not the straight ahead skater, right? All 8 on the floor all the time. They were like, yeah, I love it. And you're going to love it too, for sure. Like you're going to love this. So I went with it. Now, the point being is where I'm going with all this is that I'm so glad I did. That plate, okay, the day that they arrived, I mounted them. I go to this rink. I put my skates on. I stand up. And I'm not kidding. There's other skaters that can confirm this, okay, because they were there. Everyone was like, oh, you got the Arius. We were talking about it, whatever. I stood up. And I didn't even roll. But I stood up and I looked at like a couple of these people that I was with, and I was like, this is it. I know it for I just stood up. I just knew it. Right. And up until that point, I had not had that type of experience yet with different types of equipment or gear. Now, I'm not saying that the Arius plate is the best thing in the world, right? All that stuff is subjective, man. It really, really is. For me, I knew immediately, like, this is going to work for me. Okay. That was the first time I'd ever had that experience. Up until then, anytime I had gotten a new product, new wheels, new plates, new trucks, new whatever, I'd stand up and I had to adjust to them. Right. And kind of break them in or figure it out. Not so with the Arius. It was like immediately I knew before even rolling, I'm home, and immediate difference to my skating, making the things that I like to do that much more accessible. And just, the thing about the Arius is you think it and they do it. And that I love the action in them. So that was the only time that I ever had that type of experience with gear. And then there was a second time, and it was when I got these these wheels, these hubs, and these tires from Jim Garrett. Now, this is Jim Garrett's own custom urethane that I know for a fact, because I had asked him, hey, are there any kind of like points that you about the urethane specifically that you want to point out, at least when it came to this set, for when I do this review. So I already knew this is like a 96, 97A, right? Like, so anytime you get this set up, it's like a 96, 97A. And what I believe a true 96, 97A. Like I said, the normal dimensions are like a 64 by 42. Okay. But I know that this guy spent like a year and a half testing urethanes. Okay. I know that he was super meticulous about it. Okay. And really, really, really wanting to dial this in for longevity, for, just overall feel, for consistency, for all those things. There are so many factors, guys, that go into, molding a tire it's just crazy that I wouldn't, and that are super difficult for people that just do this at home, right? Because you're talking about, I got a lot of this information from when I had Ron Murray on, with his cushions, and because he also got into doing tires, right? Outdoor, softer urethane, but just very, very limited variances in humidity, and moisture in the air, rain, all that kind of stuff can have a dramatic impact to how a tire, ends up coming out in the long run, right? So I know that Jim spent like a year and a half really dialing this thing in. I know that he is super grateful to like Alan Baker, Justin Ziegler, Greg Fuller for testing, helping him out with a lot of testing. And I can tell you right now, those are some guys that are, if you're going to have somebody test your hubs, your urethane, those are the guys that do it. Because first of all, when it comes to like Greg and Justin, incredible skaters first and foremost, but man, they are going to put the pressure on anything that they're skating, right? Trucks, plates, and yes, wheels, because these guys, man, they jump and they slam. Now, the other thing that happens around here with skaters in this area is a lot of the tapping, right, as they shuffle. And let me tell you right now, Alan Baker, shout out to you, man. I just talked to Greg Fuller about this. Nobody like slams and taps harder than Alan Baker. It is crazy, man. I go into Olympic and Enola. I don't even have to get through like the second door. Like you could hear, it's like, and it's not like, it's not bad, right? It's not like it's not like disturbing or anything like that. It's just so crazy loud. And he's actually skating these. To the best of my knowledge, he's skating these. But nobody taps and slams their wheels harder into a wood floor than Alan Baker, at least that I've met. Shout out Alan Baker. I love that dude. And I know that Jim Garrett is super grateful to those three guys, man, for helping him out and testing these things. He really, really wanted to come out with something that he was super proud of, and that skaters that know what they're doing, know what to look for, and appreciate a level of quality that is second to none. Like he put his testing through the ringer with people. And it shows, man. It shows. The sink cut for me, that's the other thing that's beautiful about this, man. It also, not every wheel works well with the Arius as far as the spacing at the back, right? Perfect. He knew exactly what he was doing, right? The other thing is, so first off, the aesthetics. I mean, and look, just go on JGhubs, man. The designs are crazy. Like they're aesthetically, they're beautiful. Like they're beautiful. And look, and we can say like, oh yeah, but he does like replicas sometimes and this and that other thing. All that aside, right? Like, cause I've looked at like, like even just what based on the old Super D or whatever. This is still better. This still looks better. Aesthetically, to me, it's more pleasing to the eye, right? So there is a level of care and quality and craftsmanship and just super meticulous attention to detail that must be appreciated, right? And I know nothing goes out that guy's door without meeting his own super, super high expectations. This is the product of what somebody loves to do, right? Which always, always, always works better, right? It just always does. Okay. So the aesthetics are gorgeous. The roll on these things, and you can tell the difference, right? Like when somebody just because he's doing one hub at a time, right? Just a single hub at a time. You can tell like the difference even just in that compared to like a mass produced, all-in-one product. Okay. You can tell just the smoothness of the roll, right? Like how dialed in and perfect the symmetry is in every aspect of this. Okay. here's what I will tell you. And I don't have a ton of information to go on as far as getting into all the specifics of durometer and this and that and all this kind of stuff. Okay. I know what I like. I know what works well. And I've rolled enough for long enough to be able to say, this hits different. So there's a couple things I will say as far as recommendation goes. Okay. Look, and this isn't, I'm not knocking anything else, but I'm going to tell you this. If you're going to spend 200, 250, upwards of $300 on a set of wheels, I'm telling you right now, it doesn't make any sense to go with a mass produced product. It just doesn't. It doesn't. If you're going to spend $300 on a set of wheels, right? 99% of the time to go with a mass produced product doesn't make sense when it comes to like a specialty product like this. The overall attention to detail and craftsmanship and just overall quality that you're going to get is on a whole nother level. Now, look, I'm not saying that I'm talking about now. I want to make it clear. I'm talking about reputable, products, right? Reputable people that we know and have been around and tested and have proven themselves, right? To do the right thing, and produce quality high-end products that are a labor of love, right? So that's what I'm saying, right? Like for me now, and I don't know why it took me this long to get into the specialty, wheel game. I don't know. It just did, right? I'll never do anything else now. That's for sure. Like I absolutely won't. I absolutely will not. And here's the other thing I will say. With Jim, there is a quality of customer service and attention, not just to the detail of the product, but the detail and attention to the customer that you're not going to get at another level, right? Dealing with a mass produced product. Okay. And I'm not saying that other companies out there don't have great customer service. I'm just saying I'm getting great customer service from the owner, the fabricator, right? The customer service team. Like it's all them. It's just them. It's Christine and Jim, right? And Jim, I know for a fact, when he sends you something, he wants to know that you love what you got. And that's a big, that makes a huge difference, right? Like to send something out the door and, just to know that the primary goal and focus and purpose for him is that you love this thing. You love it because he loves this thing. He loves what he does. He loves skating, right? And this started by someone that said, I love this so much and I enjoy this so much. I want to add something to it. I want to bring something to it that, not to say that no one else does, but that I know that I can make an impact with and that people are going to enjoy. And I'm telling you, man, look, I think I'm pretty keyed in as far as reading people, and there's a level of sincerity there. And if you talk to anyone that has met Jim and Christine will tell you the same exact thing. Okay. They're sincere. They do what they do because they love to do it. And they love seeing people enjoy what they have to offer. And that's a huge, huge thing. And I have not met one person that wouldn't tell you the same. I know Nathan Edwards has been working with Jim for a while now. Absolutely loves working with Jim and Christine. And look, and I'm probably like, you guys, there's a lot of you guys out there like, yeah, of course, we know this already. We know this already, this kind of stuff. But, but a lot of people don't. So please understand too, I'm not just talking to like, my goal isn't to preach to the choir here, right? For all you guys, yeah, man, I've been getting JGhubs for years. They're the best things ever. Like, no shit. Everyone knows that. No, not everybody does. Not everybody does, right? There are plenty of skaters just like me that every day people are getting back into this thing, man. That JGhubs wasn't a thing when I was skating. That I don't even know if there was somebody just making hubs and wheels. Right? The technology wasn't there for us to be doing it in our garages at that point. Not for, man, I can't even imagine, right? So, especially for someone like me that got it back into this thing, I didn't necessarily know where to go and what to get and what to do and all that kind of stuff. And look, and I'm not saying everybody out there should run out the door and go buy this, buy that, blah, 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 blah. But I am saying that there's skaters just like me that were unaware that there are people in this community that offer a product, that exceeds so much of the industry standard. That's the best way to put this, right? When it comes to a product like this, and I'll go on the record for this. I don't care. Disagree all you want. I'm telling you right now, there is not a product in mass production, mass production, okay, that compares with the quality of this right now. There's just not. It doesn't happen, right? So my thing is like, look, if you're gonna go spend $250, $300 or more on a set of on wheels, you might as well a mass production maybe with a few exceptions. I know people, and I know people love anabolics, and I don't have anything against anabolics at all, right? Like, I'm not knocking anabolics. I literally just talking to somebody. They love anabolics. That's all they want to skate. That's fine. I'm just saying for the most part, okay? So don't single that one thing out or two things out, right? Like those one or two or few exceptions to the game. You know what I'm talking about. Of all the manufacturers and all the everything, every wheel that gets manufactured, right, on a mass level, if you're going to spend hundreds of dollars, right? To me, it's just a smarter decision to go with someone that is 100% trusted, isn't switching, owners like underwear, that you can contact in a Facebook message and get a message back immediately. I'm telling you, for the accessibility of Jim and Christine, right, to the owner, right, to the manufacturer, the level of quality that you get, it doesn't even match up, right? This should be produced by somebody that, you know what I mean, you could never get in contact with. This should be like impossible, right? And I know this for a fact too. In the event that something ever, goes wrong, right? Like legitimately goes wrong for whatever reason, I know for a fact these guys are going to do everything. Like, they're going to make it right. They will make it right. And that's been my experience with Ron Murray, with Nathan Edwards, all these guys, they produce things that, one, they're proud of. They love producing, right? It's not just like, oh, I produce a wheel and sell them. I know Jim Garrett loves the process of making this happen. He loves doing it. He loves getting it right. He loves looking at a finished product and this is stuff talking to Christine, man. She know, like, Christine will tell you, and it's no BS. She loves how much he loves doing this. Like I can tell that she enjoys watching him live out his passion. And it's, so like he enjoys holding this finished product and being like, man, somebody is gonna love this thing. This is gonna make a difference to somebody, right? And that's a really fulfilling thing, man. That's a really cool thing. And when it matters that much, right? It didn't just roll off some line. You know what I mean? It's a different thing. It's a different thing. And you don't like spend, look, at the end of the day, man, you could just get a set, you can get some urethane, whatever. We could, but to literally spend like a year and a half being like, no, nobody's going to get this until it meets the standards, until it meets my standards, until it meets the standards of people that I truly respect and that really, really know what quality is. And then we're going to do this. The other thing is that, and I think talking to him, I know that nothing's going out the door that he would not personally love to roll himself. That's a great thing. That's an awesome thing. So, yeah, man, I wish I had more to say other than I absolutely love these things. There is a craftsmanship and a quality that is second to none. Perfect for me. These things are perfect for me. They definitely get my recommendation. I can't wait to try other things. I really, I do. Like even if it's just trying, right? Like bigger wheels or hubs that I've never gotten on like 50s or anything like that, right? But just to experience what he has to offer. But I tell you right now, the one thing I can tell you, okay, these Super Ds, this 96, 97A, I am having a blast on these things. And that's the other thing, man. If you have a specific need or whatever, right? Hit Jim up, man. Tell him like, hey, like I like this size, hey, can you cut this angle, whatever. The dude did it for me and I didn't even have to ask. Like he just knew. Oh yeah, I've seen you skate before. I know what you do. And he was right. Samurai on these things. So I hope I wasn't just very too general about this whole thing. I really hope that like this was at least informative. Please also know that this is also kind of a preview because I will be having Jim Garrett on the podcast soon in the coming weeks because I do want to dig into all the details. What I can tell you right now is best wheel I've ever rolled, best experience I've had. Okay. Or that I've owned for sure. Right. Second to none, man. And then, look, do I know a lot of this stuff is preference? Yes, absolutely. Okay. But I can't wait to have that guy on and let him tell you all of the specs and the data and all the idiosyncrasies that I don't even know. I just know what I like. I like these things. I like the way they look. I like the way they feel. I like the way they roll. And, I knew when I picked it up, I was like, oh yeah, here we go. Let's go. Right. So yeah, stay tuned for Jim Garrett being on the podcast in the coming weeks. Can't wait to have an awesome conversation. Hey, drop in the comments. If there are questions that you have for Jim Garrett, drop me in these comments. I'll make sure that I jot them down and I keep them on hand for when I have them on the podcast. Other than that, guys, thank you very much. And we'll see you next time.